I can check in from wherever I am. I actually feel like I'm in a wordless kind of place. But I feel the pull, the desire for that stillness and the peace and the gentleness. And to really hold space for us to be with each other today. That bringing our essence really is enough. Just bringing our own little fire. And we can sit together and witness and breathe. Chris spoke of in ceremony and in major life events in his culture. Bearing witness was a huge part of it. Witnessing each other. Simply hearing someone speak and being with them. And that's the pull I'm feeling, is to just really tenderly be with each other today. And that's all for me.
And go. Is it those mats?
Yeah, in the Inside Out weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I was here for an Inside Out weekend, and there were some mats in the corner with a bear on them. And I remember saying bear witness. I remember hearing that and speaking that, and it's bringing up because you're gifting them it for the wedding. Yeah. Making me emotional because it just feels that there was pieces coming together before he left to just, I don't know, have like an imprint in the group already, because I don't know Tracy and I don't know Chris. I do feel connected to whatever. There's lots to feel, not so much to say. So just leave it at that.
Bear witness. Well,
There seems to be a lot of lots of people leaving planet right now. This space. I as well have lost somebody very close to me in the last 2 weeks. My auntie passed. And yeah, so just want to honor and acknowledge her. She was my mom's sister. And I loved her so much. She was crazy. She was batshit crazy, but but so friggin' sweet. Yeah, she was my favorite auntie. I can just hear her. I love you so much, Nicole. When are you gonna marry a doctor? Yeah, she said crazy stuff, like inappropriate all the time, but yeah, but then she'd follow it with, I love you. Made it all go away. And this was really hard because she was the only person left alive that acknowledged me, in my family. Like the abuse that happened. So that was really hard. Really hard. And I kind of feel like I don't have, I mean, within my family, that my family, right, a bloodline. She saw, yeah. So it was like she died, but something else died as well.
Yeah.
A witness. A witness, yeah.
Witness died.
Yeah.
Amy and Sherry, if you want to speak, just chime in whenever you wish. We're not going around the circle here or anything like that.
I can say something.
Amy,
I
hi.
feel a mixture of emotions. The first one is a sadness that I can't be in person present with all of you. And I tease and say that's a consequence for playing with my children and falling head over heels down a bouncy castle while racing my 13-year-old. Have some whiplash. But I'm grateful that we have Zoom that allows me to be still present. And I also have appreciation and gratitude for the stillness that this group has invited into my day so far. Even though there's heaviness of heart with the announcement of the passings of these beautiful souls. The mixture of emotion is sadness and compassion for the loss, but also gratitude and joy of the feelings and awareness that they are not fully gone. That to me is joyful, that it's a loss but not fully gone, that there's still touch points, that the awareness of each of you in that belief system, because Summer so beautifully demonstrated that connection can still exist. And that to me is joyful. Appreciate the stillness. There was chaos happening in my house as my family was headed off to church, yet there's still stillness. And I love moments of stillness, which is really not who I've been for very long. My brain is always active. My body's always active. Even when I try to be still, there's no stillness, but there's a stillness here. And it's something that I've been trying to practice in this work is the stillness, because to connect into the body, there needs to be a stillness. And it's beautiful what comes from stillness. And so I'm feeling the gratitude of the beauty of the stillness that exists right now, as we're all in a place of wandering and connection. So I have a whole bunch of emotions happening right now, but I think a lot of them largely in part are a gratitude and a joy to be present. I've really focused on, since doing the immersion weekend, how being present is a gift, one that I've not fully appreciated or been able to offer people. And right now I feel the gift of the presence that are here with each one of you. And I feel fully present, which is a gift. So lots of joy and gratitude today for being here, and excitement for what's to come with being able to practice with it today. So that's how I feel for listening.
Thanks, Amy.
I guess I'll speak. Um, it's a little bit difficult for me to know what to say because I don't really know the people personally. Um, I know one of the meetings I attended, and I'm sorry, I don't even remember the names, but the girl with the ill father, what was her name, Summer?
Melissa.
Melissa. Yeah, I know that she had spoken a bit about the experience that she was going through with her dad. And it was really heartbreaking to really witness. And so I guess the pain that she was going through in the caregiving, possibly just seeing the downfall of her father all playing out, you know, words or memories that maybe weren't necessarily expressed by her dad in a loving or cognitive way, might be words that she'll still carry with her for a while yet to come. So my heart was really, pouring out for her at that time. So in some ways, in that aspect, I can see it maybe as a gift for her, for them both, maybe. I don't really know their life story together.
Yeah, Sherry, may I ask, like, what are you just feeling in your body right now?
I feel sadness and sorrow. Conflicted in some ways because I like Amy and probably each of you have some of my own beliefs around death and people's timing of leaving the earth. And but all the same, I guess no matter what the situation has played out in the lifetime together as parent, sibling,
Can I
or whatever.
pause
Yeah.
you for a sec?
Yeah.
Because I noticed you went into your body and there was sadness, sorrow, and a feeling of conflict. And then you said but, and then went into what you think or more of a story.
Yeah,
So I'm curious and just want to give you permission just to be in your own body, and you can be conflicted, and we can bear witness to that conflict or whatever it is that you're just really feeling.
yeah. Well, I think the conflict is really it's the balance between losing someone, the sorrow of losing someone and the gift
Mm,
of losing someone.
mm,
So that sometimes feels like it's, a conflict because when somebody passes very unexpectedly in somebody's life, the last thing they want to hear about the gift that it, could be. So that's where kind of like the conflict lies. I feel just from what I experienced with Melissa and the pain and the sorrow and the grief and everything that she was expressing in this meeting that we were in, that perhaps the passing of her father was a gift because she seemed to be just struggling so much with his care and everything that went around that, and perhaps his anger around that. And
yeah, and so I'll just pause because yeah, definitely Melissa can share what that was.
yeah, is Melissa there?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay. Yeah. It was really, yeah, heart crushing to hear her speak, and maybe in a lot of ways because I could relate to some of it.
Yeah. Mm.
For Tracy, it was yeah. That's
Wait.
oh, sorry.
Well, I noticed you said I could relate to it, and then you got emotional, and we could feel you, and then you skip back out to the feeling. And that's when it's hard to bear witness with you when you skip out. And so, what I'm most curious about, and what I love when I hear you speak, is when I could feel you go into, oh, it was hard because I could relate to it. And
Yeah.
then I can start to feel you and who you are.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just didn't
No, no,
want to
that's okay. I just want to reflect that
Yeah,
I also
Yeah.
want to be with you. And as you started to say, it was hard because you could relate. I could feel your emotion, and then also you skipping back, yeah, back out.
yeah, well, there is emotion because there is, my own, it is emotional because there is my own father stuff. So I could relate on that level and feel on that level the depths of her struggle and pain. Uh,
If I may invite you, and I think it was Naomi that said today, sometimes there's not a lot of words, just feeling.
Yeah.
It was Jessica, and just allowing yourself to bear witness to that and letting us too.
Yeah.
Allowing you just to feel that.
Yeah.
If you're willing.
You mean in what sense you want me to
Just to breathe into whatever's true for you, to be still enough to notice how Melissa's story reflects something true to you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just in her, the way she was expressing her struggle and, just the caregiving can be a really huge.
Hang on. So I'm just going to notice something else here, and I hope you're not, because as you're talking about your own experience with your dad, you feel.
Yeah.
And then you go into telling a story about Melissa's dad.
Yeah.
And that's for Melissa to speak to. And you don't need to speak either.
Yeah.
But I just want you to notice what comes alive in you, what's true for you, what you can feel in your own body, the truth in there, as you could relate to Melissa's story without saying what you think Melissa's story is and just taking ownership over how that impacted you and what truth comes alive for you in it.
Right. Well, the truth that comes alive in me is that it's not even necessarily around my father, because I never really, well, I knew my father, but I had no life.
Yeah.
But
So what I hear you saying is that you didn't feel very connected to your dad.
yeah, he wasn't in my life at all. But maybe it's not even really the father connection as much as it is around the caregiving, knowing what it's like to be the caregiver,
Oh,
people that need you.
oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard Sherry, but she just said there, the caregiving part.
Yeah.
Really felt what you said, Sherry, when you said that. I really felt you.
There's something really important about the caregiving part.
Yeah. Because it's kind of been my whole life. And sometimes it's appreciated.
Oh,
And sometimes it's something people just take for granted.
and they might even resent it too.
Uh, I can't speak on that. I don't really.
More
I don't.
for granted.
I think it's like my upbringing and family dynamic is very toxic and very lots of addiction. So yeah, I can kind of, I can relate to the weight of being this giving person and trying your best to sometimes it never seems you meet the mark.
Mhm.
It's a never ending giving. So that's in some ways how I see her father's passing, possibly a gift.
Thanks, Sherry.
Um,
Yeah.
With Tracy, that's that. Even though I don't even know, I never don't know her husband. That hit me as a bit of as a shock. It's yeah, it's last year I lost two of my closest friends almost back to back. It's a shock. They weren't ready to go, and I certainly wasn't thinking they were heading that way either. So it's almost like a new way of living has presented itself to begin. So I really feel for her. I really feel, and just from what you were talking, Summer, he sounds like he was a lovely man, just a lovely person to know. So that's also kind of sad that he's left maybe too early. And then the conflict with everything is in divine timing. So nobody really holds the answers. But as Amy said, they're never really gone. That's a belief that I hold too, that they're always still there to access and be present. And that's it for me. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sherry.
I think I'm the only person left to go. So I am, there's a lot of the feels. What are the feels? Definitely gratitude. Just I mean, I'm just new to this space, but just feeling the rarity of a space where like our truth can just, like you were saying, bear witness, where truth can and what's present can be witnessed, and that is just so rare to me and so powerful and such a gift. So just feel the reverence and the gratitude for that. I feel gratitude for the message from Chris, and the whole analogy of the igloo was just so, again, powerful. Like I really felt that, the truth of that. We just, or I'll own it and go, I often don't stop to just recognize that and feel that. So that was very powerful. I'm also feeling his message of, if it's hard, like stop. There's some things that are hard in my life, and So I really feel like I'm grappling with that piece of like it's too hard. Just be done. It's too hard. And then the other side of going, wanting to be accountable and to, you know, create and yeah, not just drop something when it's hard. Like, yeah, so it's that just grappling with that balance between
If I
when
may.
when is hard enough.
Yeah, I think what he means by that is not to drop the thing itself,
Mhm,
it's to drop how we're thinking about it,
mhm, mhm,
to change our judgment or the type of relationship we have towards it.
mhm. I feel like for me, that's where the accountable comes in, right? I'm just feeling like I just want to be accountable and acknowledge that I'm always in creation. So yeah, that's the truth of where I'm at. I just grapple with that. Yeah, and I'm tired. Yeah, sometimes I just don't want to grapple anymore. And so yeah. And I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this space. I'm grateful for I've said that before. It's like it like this is so odd because it just feels like, well, nothing's really happening, but yet big shit's really happening. It's like it's not, you know? Like it's like I think because we're used to, or again, I'll own that, I'm used to in lots of the different things that you're doing. It's like, okay, now we're doing this, and then we're going to go from A and then B and then C, and then that will get us to D, and then you're going to have a breakthrough, but it's not like that. It's just like, so it feels sometimes like, well, nothing's happening, but yet stuff is happening. I don't know. Words are hard. So yeah, just grateful and yeah, just sending so much love to everyone who's, like you said, there's so many people just, it seems, leaving this earth right now. I don't know. It does seem to me like it's more than it's been. And yeah, just can be so used to having those people or pets um, in your life. And then when it's changed into something different, it's can be so heartbreaking to adjust to. So just feeling that grief. No, the relationship is not ended, as we've all said, if that's what you believe and that's what you choose. And but it's different, and that different is can be such a band-aid ripping. I mean, again, even my dog, I just, you know, it's like he was just always there. And now he's not. So it's still hard. So acknowledging that. But yeah, thank you for this space. Yeah, I just like the words that are dropping in for me right now, like a little bit harsh, but they don't feel harsh. It's just like, a fucking place where people can finally fucking just be. Like, it's so powerful. And to just have people be witness to that is just, I feel like just a lot of people are tired. They're tired of, I mean, myself included sometimes, but it's just like I feel that that's not just me. Like there's a collective fucking tiredness that people might not even be fully conscious of, but they're fucking tired of of like being unauthentic and not being witnessed and being the shadow and yeah. The machine. Yeah. Again, just gratitude for the space to just create that door open and go like, can I tap into this? And will people just witness? And not only even just witness, but like the words you use, like just tenderly witness and hold and yeah, allow. Yeah, it's just special. Special. So one last time, thank you.
Oh, goodness, I don't know when she came in here. Hi, Maria. I'm actually just going to suggest, because it's already been an hour, to take a break. Just attend to your needs in whatever gentle way that you need to. A drink, a warm something or other for us here, just a hug or whatever, bathroom break. And I don't want it to be rushed. So maybe if we can come back at 11:10. In future, I do want to say we're going to make a distinction between check-ins and then open shares, which will be related to the curriculum. But today was different. Different as souls leave. The planet is different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maria, it's we were talking about the passing of loved ones. Tracy's husband died on Thursday, and I know you experienced something very similar earlier. So I just want to acknowledge that too. So, and we'll check back in with you and when we're back.
And Melissa's dad, in case she.
And Melissa's dad too. I think she knows.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you back at 10 after or so. And so Naomi, this is her place and her specialty. So I'm gonna pass it over to her today.
So we just want to go in a little bit into the material from the module. But really I'm inviting you into your own resonance and your own truth, your insights about what was in there or about what we talk about today. It's an invitation to really gently be with yourself and we can be with each other. And just notice what comes up. And I'm really feeling to emphasize that when we talk about protector parts, the real goal of protector parts is to keep us functioning. And so they're really important in our life. We can't be walking around in pain all the time. That would just be way too much, right? So these parts come in to really keep us functioning. And I want to share a story because I had someone held space for me last night to go into my parts to do an internal family systems session, which is parts work. And I had done kind of half the work a week ago and we were getting down to the hurting part inside. And so that's what I was ready to explore this week. But as we got close, a part of me that wants to figure things out popped up, and it came in so strong. I was completely tense across my forehead, and I was really surprised because, you know, I kind of know this work. And so I like talked to the part that wanted to figure it out, and it wouldn't relax. It wouldn't, the tension wouldn't go. And so the gentleman who was sitting with me just said, "Oh, let's ask it what it's doing there." And the part told me, "I'm here to keep you out of grief." And I was really surprised because that's not what we were doing in that session. We were going into a part of me that worries about failure and not being good enough, you know? And I was like, oh, grief. Wow. And I was a bit puzzled because I have been grieving. I lost my dog at the end of October. I cry when I need to. I talk to him. I experience him. And I knew I was grieving this, and I was crying when I needed to cry. I was feeling it. And I was really surprised. And then as I was speaking to this part of me that figures everything out, it showed me that it was worried that grief would be like a wave that would just overwhelm me. And I was like, oh, I get it now. I get why it's this figure out part was coming in so strong and creating such tension in my forehead. And then we discovered two other parts of me that were working. One was a deadline part. There's been a lot of deadlines for work I'm doing within the Relational Wisdom School. And I did a lot of creating curriculum this month. I did a lot of creating out of this beautiful essence part of me that loves to teach about the inner world and loves to get in there with people. And these two parts have been working really hard. And then I saw this picture of the inside of me, and I could see there's a part that figures out, there's a part that creates and teaches, which is a beautiful part of who I just am. And there was a pushing deadline part that was like, you got to get this out by this date, and you got to get this out by this date. And the whole reason I couldn't get where I wanted to go in that session, which was the part that's afraid of failure, was this part was saying, you only have this little bit of time to heal. You've got to do it in this session because tomorrow you got to teach a class, and then Monday you have all these things, and then Christmas is coming, and like tickety boo, let's get this show on the road. And my body, the wisdom of my body is like, we can't do this in a rush. And there's other things going on. There's grief going on. And so they were all keeping me from going too deep, too fast, and being overwhelmed. And when I heard all the parts, and they really, because it's almost as if they have their own personalities, right? And when they all felt that I really got it, I felt this swirl of energy go down through me. And here came the grief. And I saw how from the minute my dog died, or like the day and a half later, these hardworking parts and these teaching parts and these figured out parts came in to get me through the last 6 weeks. And they're vital. They were all helping me function. They were all helping me to not get swallowed in those feelings. And they titrated the grief so I could feel it a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And so I could stay functional. This is what all the parts of us do. Some of them get like this figure it out part is very developed and quite protectory in my life. It works really hard to categorize information so that I feel like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And if I get confused, even in inside out sometimes, if I'm confused by the images or the feelings, the figure it out part comes up really strong. And I have to be like, okay, hello, it's okay. We can trust. We can go back into the feelings and kind of practice. By having a lot of practice, this part of me trusts that nothing dangerous is going on, and it will let go, and it can go back into my body. But this is what I really feel to emphasize is that all of these parts are to keep us functioning. So even when we call them saboteurs or they're coming really strong, they have a purpose. They have a reason for being there. The resistance we feel is deeply, deeply purposeful, and it needs to be heard. When I ended that session last night, I felt this deep gratitude because I saw, even though we didn't get where I wanted to go in that session, even though I couldn't do my efficient healing that I was longing for. I know, I only had like 15 minutes, right? To heal all this
healing.
What I felt was a large spaciousness inside of me and a relief of like, oh, the grief also got to swirl, and now I'm not carrying quite as much as I was. And so even when we talk about the protector parts, the strong ones that come in, that judge, that hypervigilant nervous system drive that we feel, It's only there to keep you out of your deep pain, and it's there to keep your life going. So sometimes we hate these parts and we shove them away. We think they're bad and dark, or I wish I wasn't like this. And they're longing to be known and recognized and heard for the role that they're playing in your life. And it doesn't mean we only have to see them as protectors, because they are a natural part of us that's there, and it only flips into a protector role when there's pain attached to it, right? And so Sherry, can I reflect on what your check-in was and the accountability part? Would it be okay for me to just speak to that for a minute? So a part of us that takes accountability helps us to do some very good things in life. It helps us sometimes to show up when we don't really want to. It helps us to do all kinds of, to be in relationship with other people. So when something comes up really strong in our system, oh, I feel like I have to be accountable. It's an invitation to ask what it really wants to say. What is the message of that part that needs to be heard? So you can focus in on, where's that energy coming from in my body? What does it want to say to me? And then with the principles of inside out, we can become that feeling in our imagination. You can ask it to talk to us. We can interact in a feeling way, whatever way feels good to us, and simply hear from it. When we hear or we have the insight, it's like this tension leaves. And now we have more ability to make a decision, because we've heard the part that wants to be accountable. We've heard the part that needs to rest or to relax or to just be. And it's like when the tension goes, now we can find the way through in a way that gets the needs met. All the needs inside of us get met. So having said that, I would like to just open up the space to ask, if you were able to get into the module, what in it is still sitting in your body about protector parts, or the shame, or the resistance. And I do have some things to share. It's just, if people, from the responses, I printed out some of the responses, but if people would like to just speak for what they actually experienced as they went through the module, I'd rather do that. Then I can fill in any gaps if there's some left.
Yeah, and if online, if you guys want to go to, if you want to raise your virtual hand, and then we'll see it, so then we know that you want to take your turn there.
I can try.
Yeah.
So even as I'm listening to you, I'm contemplating different things. So, you talk about protector parts. And then are you saying protector parts are synonymous? Does that mean the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you saying that's synonymous with saboteurs?
For the most part, except there's way more than the list of saboteurs. A protector part, we went over it really quickly in the journaling exercise that was in the module. A protector part is any part of us that rushes to the front,
Yeah.
to keep us out of pain, or when pain is triggered. So some of us just go numb.
Yeah.
Some of us distract ourselves. Some of us go eat food.
Yeah.
Any of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because what I discovered was, when I went through your whatever you call it, visualization piece, or like that piece. So I guess I'll give it context so it makes sense for people. So the piece that I was contemplating around was, say, because I feel like with my husband, I can often sit in this place where I snap back, and I am like, that like angry child comes out. And so, okay, yes, protector part. But what I discovered in that it's like that part is angry with me too, but it's angry with my saboteurs. So my high saboteur is avoider, hyperachiever, pleaser. Like that piece is like if you're not going to deal with it, like I'm fucking jumping in.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, so then I was sort of grappling with this piece of, I was thinking they were synonymous, but then it feels like they're not, because that piece that wants to snap is, yes, angry with him and trying to protect from him, but it's also, it felt like it was angry with me. Like, if you're gonna go quiet, if you're gonna, because I do have those pieces that are like, and then I was grappling with that too, because I'm like, oh, I've kind of thought of them as trauma responses. So I can be in that need to leave the room right away, can't handle it, or I can be in the, I don't even know what you're talking about anymore, like I'm gone, I'm checked out. I can be in the, like my husband will say, Kate, it's your turn, now speak. And I'm like, it's gone, everything's gone. Like I can't even, like, it's gone. So again, all those could be protector pieces, and that, what did you call them? The resistance, like resisting. But yeah, I think that snap piece is also a piece that's going, I don't like your saboteur, Sherry. And so I'm going to step in and I'm going to handle this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just all feels a little complex, and but just interesting. It was interesting to grapple with. And I was sharing with you this morning that it was also when I was contemplating how I felt about that snapping part of me. Like, what kept coming up was this image of, and I'll just share that, was like, how you go to a fair and there's that, that thing where you smash with a sledgehammer and the bell goes on. So it was like, I feel like I'm able to handle it all the time. Like a bell goes up, it's that trigger, but it comes back down. Bell goes up, that trigger, it comes back down. But once in a while, some big strong person comes by, smashes that, and it fucking ding, and that's my bucket. I've snapped, right? Protector.
Yeah.
And so I had this feeling of a great appreciation for it. And I also am feeling such shame about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a lot. So I don't know if it's a question or a share or just putting all that on the table.
Yeah.
But those are the things that and I feel like, of course, there's so much more there to contemplate and feel and move through.
Yeah.
I speak to that. Yeah, that's where like saboteurs, protector parts, super useful information. And then when it gets complex, it's like, oh, look at all these different energies all over the place. And that's where the language part and the mind part becomes limited.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where then we go into inside out and that image, right? Because an image speaks 1,000 words. And you just go into the pure energetic experience of it through inside out. No judgment at all. And you're just opening up that the witnessing then of all of those pieces inside. And that's where it's no longer hard. That's where the ease comes in, because it does it for you. The more you practice, and it goes back to Einstein, right? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. And so as we're trying to, okay, what are all these energies and how do they relate and what do they do? Oh, that's when we're on that exhaustion, tired treadmill. Until we can bear witness through opening up that inner space, and the energies just start moving. Like you go into that dinging bell thing, it's going to show you something else. It's going to move. And so that's where we connect our conscious labels and communication, which is useful, especially if we have protector parts. We want to at least be aware of them. But to get below into the actual underneath energetic experience of everything, that's where we be with the energy, and we practice that, and it just spits you out the other side all the time, because it's always transforming until we try to create or destroy it, until we judge it. It's always moving for us.
When you're saying that spits you out the other side, it's like rebirth.
Someone said, was that online, the difference and the new? It feels like there's a lot of new coming. And Sherry said the gift, right, of death. Like, these are the parts of us that do need to die. What can we let go of? What can we enter life. And I heard this dichotomy with Sherry too, like Marshall Rosenberg talks about life-serving energy, and then there's also life-taking energy, those parts that we know, like, oh, this does not feel good. Whatever energy is going on here, whatever patterns, it's not life-giving to me. And so that's, yeah, it's almost as simple as, well, let's go into the energy that's not life-giving. And as I go into the energy that's not life-giving, it spits me back out to the life-giving side, because it's like that battery. It's the yin yang, it's the cycle, it's just how it works. But in that striving and that pushing to do things to reach the goal, we prevent ourselves from reaching the goal because our mind is so limited as to what we think it is. Until we surrender and trust source. When we feel into our body and goes, oh, that's life-serving to me. I don't care why it's life-serving to me. I don't have to figure that out. That's God's plan. I just have to go where that is.
Mhm.
Go with what I'm feeling.
Go with what I'm feeling. The resonant truth. The flow, the ease. Yeah. But it takes practice because, yeah, there are protective parts, but sometimes it's just the judgments that we've been taught. And then it's like, well, wait a sec. My mind doesn't believe that. And so the IFS work in that is helping the mind to be at ease with allowing the soul to be the master and the mind its servant versus the other way around. Because in our culture, the mind is the master. And this is why we're tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why it feels, yeah, hard. Go ahead.
We've been taught to see ourselves with violence. We've been taught to look inward and say, oh, that's bad about me. That's bad about me. Oh, this, I'm so full of shame. I can't go in here. Like, all of this is bad. And so part of the teaching, like the reason to learn the purpose of protector cards is to say, my body is trying to serve me. My body is trying to serve me by keeping me safe. And when we see that with more clarity and we can appreciate what our protector parts or what we've labeled saboteurs are doing, we start to feel this appreciation and this acceptance. Oh, I have a really strong part that really likes to figure things out. And actually that's really served me for a really long time in my life. And now I can simply notice its presence and breathe. Notice any message it has for me, has any image or sensation or whatever it might have. Simply allow it to move through my body. When I can't do that on my own, maybe I'm noticing I'm carrying a lot of tension. I'm really charged. My protectors are up. I want to scream at somebody. And I can't wade through it on my own. I'm choking in my own inner experience. Then we call on the group or a witness, one witness or 8 witnesses to begin to speak out the truth that's in us. And they help us move through the fear and our judgment of anything. So Sherry, when you spoke to that anger, the dong part, it goes up. And it's actually probably relieving when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But then the judge comes in and is like, oh, that's very bad. Like, that's very bad. Yeah.
And I still go, this is,
It's also very good, right?
well, yes, but I'm still recognizing that if my greatest expression is love and like, that's not that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So again, it's that I see it. I don't want to judge it and chastise and all that. But in the same sense, I'm just thinking as you're talking, it feels like this. I'm going in around the corner of the closet and I'm shining the flashlight on it and going, there you are. It's okay. I see you. You can come out of the closet. You don't have to, right? Like, and then it's like normalized and then it just goes, oh, like I don't have to freak out anymore. Like you see me.
Yeah.
And it's okay. You're not like, I'm not the boogeyman anymore. You shine the flashlight on me. And I guess I'm not as bad or whatever. I don't know, it's like little kids when you're, it's like the boogeyman in the closet isn't so scary. Is there. And then it's like, and then it loses its energy. Well, I don't have to run around trying to scare kids anymore. You see me and you know I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm kind of going, okay. So it doesn't mean that I want to be in that space because it's not coming from love. And yet, it's not a, you're bad and there's something wrong and like, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like even thinking about the saboteur work, where that doesn't go is that space of like, what's it want to share? What's it feel? What's it look like, feel like, sound like, whatever, all of that. Yeah.
The saboteur work is kind of a top level. It's thinking, it's being able to recognize patterns and think.
Mm-hmm.
And then IFS takes it a little bit deeper into how do we relate? And inside out bypasses the thinking completely. It can bring it back in to integrate it, but inside out simply goes into we're just witnessing everything that is and allowing it to move through us. Right. So it's different levels of the same work in a way. But what we have been missing is the knowledge that we can relate to what's inside of us and building some relationship, the true Sherry that's like, oh, like I see this here and I can love it. And I also recognize it doesn't need to be in that angry state. I know that's not the true expression of it, but I can be here with it. That's true Sherry, holding presence, holding witness, right? And as you meet needs, as you go into the energy, especially when it gets triggered. And if we have time, we'll watch a video about triggers today. But when it gets triggered, it's a prime time to be like, oh, hello, there you are in my body. Now I'm going to let it really move by really witnessing what's underneath it. Because often it's carrying pain of some kind. Right?
Well, and I feel like sometimes when that happens, often now doing the work I've done, I am in witness of it while it's happening.
Yeah.
And I am, when it's kind of hit the bell, I'm in witness of it and often going, and I'm gonna allow you to be there, but there's still a level of frustration of going, but I'm not really getting anything out of this, so why am I allowing it to do that? And I'm like, it's such a weird thing. Like I'm literally there witnessing it, like, okay, you're acting like a baby and you're whatever the case is, and you're, and this doesn't work.
Well,
And I'm
this,
just gonna choose it anyways.
yeah, well,
And like
that's,
I'm having this whole thing in my head about it.
well, and you'll notice, oh, you're acting like a baby and you're just gonna do it anyway. There's,
Mhm.
it's tainted with
Some judgment.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And this is where, if it's a demon, an entity, the boogeyman, whatever archetypical energy or image that emerges, it's all energy. All it boils down to is that all energy abides by the same universal law as everything else. There's negative energy and positive energy. And as long as we bear witness to it, it always goes to the more life-serving arena. Sometimes as kids, those protective parts were life-serving to us at one point. They've become not life-serving. So how do we figure out when it is? We go into the energy and we let it move. It's just so simple. And we try to make it hard. We've been taught so many layers of education of how we're wrong and we're bad and we're fighting everything.
So how do we go into the energy in the moment?
Through
In the moment, I can understand you do inside out actor in the moment. What would you say?
this takes practice.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, part of it is witnessing it, because sometimes we used to be so blended with it. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute. Oh, I can look retrospect. Now you're to the place where you go, oh, I'm in the moment of it. Oh. And this is where maybe it's a shorter time span. You go, oh, that just happened. Okay, what was that? I'm sitting in my body. Or you have a sacred mirror. Or if you get triggered with me and you go, I'm like Debbie did, then I'm like, oh, great. Let me hold space for you to breathe into that so that you can process that in the moment, right? And that's what level 2 conscious communication goes into. How do we start becoming that magnetic safe haven for ourselves first to catch that? Because we're so used to in the moment going, oh, I'm judging it first and I'm protecting myself first because my environment has told me I'm in an emotional, spiritual war every day of my life. And if I don't, I'm going to, oh, shut up, or I'll give you something to cry on. Whack. So it's literally co-creating an entirely different reality with the parts outside of us, but that also reflect those parts in ourselves. So I don't know if that answered your question, but it takes, catching my story. I've got this.
Doing
Yeah, you are.
but
Yeah.
just not all the time. And that's where I come back to, I have that empathy for so many people. You know, I'm constantly, when people go into, oh my God, did you see how I go straight into, and they just have needs that are not being met, and they don't, that's the only way that, like, it's okay,
Yeah.
you know? So, and I can witness that for myself. And occasionally, you know, and I can be in the woo, there it is. Oh, I see it. Woo, did my temperature rise? I felt this rush, and that dinging bell going up, right? And it's like, okay, there it all is. And then sometimes I go, okay, I feel it. And I'm okay. So what's my choice? And other times it's like, nope, let her buck. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. We're gonna keep doing it, and I see it as a pattern that's deeply grooved, and each time we catch it, it's a little less deep.
Yes. Yes.
So
Okay. I'm
yeah.
gonna be quiet now.
Yeah.
Or something. I'm thinking like like from what you said, Summer, the judgment sort of stops everything. So like I just like the judgment literally stops receiving of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the minute any judgment from any protector part or saboteur or whatever comes in, it feels like it would just stop the process. So I wonder if eliminating the judgment would continue it. I don't know at all. But like
Well, yeah,
yeah.
it does, and that's why sometimes a witness who
Well,
bears witness says, "It's okay, keep breathing. I'm okay. I'm not judging you."
Right. Right.
And if you can feel that non-judgment from someone else,
Mm.
that part of you that creates spaciousness in yourself goes, "Oh, okay, I can relax." You borrow someone else's nervous system.
Well, I feel like when you were saying that too, it's like if we can release judgment, it feels like it flips us into curiosity,
Mhm.
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And then it's like, so we're like, oh, what's going on?
Mhm.
We're neutral, we're not in judgment, but we're just going, what's
Because
going on? What's
judgment
happening?
comes out of fear. The
Yeah.
underlying emotion of that is fear. Whereas curiosity is like, oh,
Openness.
it's openness.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of a client years ago who said, she's like, oh, she's in the middle of Inside Out. And she said, oh, I hate my sister. I shouldn't say that. That's terrible of me to say. And I said, what? Just notice it's just an emotion. And what if we just felt it? And she felt it. And then she said, oh, I don't hate my sister. I've been so hurt by my sister. And she immediately saw what was under what she was calling hate, with a feeling of hate. Right?
Yeah. The instant you witness without judgment, it switches.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And you get down to the core emotion that's under the layers that we've told ourselves about it. So trust also comes in. Curiosity and trust, they go hand in hand. And that's what allows the energy to keep moving and keep providing insight in whatever way it speaks to us in the moment.
So I feel like this is where
Homework.
story comes in too.
Yeah, I just want to check with people online, if there's anything you're speaking to with the homework. Maria, I know you came in kind of after, so we're just reflecting on the homework, saboteurs and protective parts,
Shame or resistance.
shame or resistance. Yeah, and any thoughts about yourself or what you notice about those
Maria's-
things.
Thank you. I have
Well, we can't hear you.
yeah, when I was or let me turn my speaker off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. That's highest, yeah.
When I was doing the homework, I recalled a memory that was so visceral about like my brother would play this weird game of like smothering me with pillows that I think he got from my mom because she had like postpartum depression. She would do that to like the infants in the family when they were crying. So there's this nasty, like sad thing. And so he was doing that to me one day. And while he was smothering me, he was telling me to, like, if I would just relax, that I could like find a little bit of air through the fibers of the pillow. So like while he's on top of me and while I'm disoriented, I'm having this experience where he's like also telling me how to survive the experience, which I adopted. And so I'm like grieving the life that I've lived based on like the neurological system that was built based on that choice of like, instead of my nervous system getting to complete this cycle that says like, fuck off, like get off of me, like I don't want to play this, my nervous system was like, oh, okay, if I shut down right now, then I can have my brother's love, I can have my brother's affection and attention, and there won't be a conflict. And so we like ended this game with me and my nervous system being shut down, you know, because I'm like, okay, if I resist, then we're going to be fighting and he has a pillow on top of me. And so what I'm realizing is like, okay, one of these like priestesses in Brazil at one point told me, don't live your life like a ball of snow. And we have these like very strong experiences at a young age that maybe are pre-verbal or like around that time that become like a nucleus of a snowball, and they're in there until it's like what she was just asking, like, well, how do you access that part in a safe way before we're like exploding in an argument or something like that? And just really like sitting with that part of myself that was like, okay, if I shut down, if I don't feel how I feel, then I can be accepted. And so I'm just like, whoa, what kind of who would I be right now? Like, what kind of life would I be living if I didn't live my whole life based on a foundational nervous system that had like surrendered control of my own body? And it felt like I was trapped. I was like, oh man, like I'll never be able to get back that far. Like I'll never be able to unravel all of the bad choices that I made based on having shut myself down. And then I realized what I actually can, because like through timeline jumping. And so I got to this like really important part where I was just like, oh yeah, okay. Like my whole world is formulated. And I guess like for me, realizing that like ultimately for the nervous system to actually like release, it has to complete the circuit. And I think that's why I've had all this like legal stuff, is because it's like forced me. Oh man, I'm gonna cry. Oh man, who like forced me to like protect myself. Like it forced me to activate this part of myself that I had completely shut down, and that I like completely built like a whole personality based on like, oh, I don't need that limb. Like I don't even need that part of myself that could defend myself right now. And so, and I've been like really like praying with Creator, like, Creator, please, like, please show me the reason why all of this is happening. Like, show me, because I know who I am. I know the work that I've done. Like, show me, why am I going through all of this? And there was a woman here who, she was a blind traveler in maybe like 2016 or something, and she went missing and they never found her. And I was always consumed by having met her family, like looking for her. And I would have visions of her. I would hear her talking to me. And sometimes I would think like, maybe I do have schizophrenia. And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, not sure if I'm hearing this lady or not, or I might be crazy. And then during the pandemic, it got really, really intense, where she would like be talking to me and guiding me and telling me, like, when I went to Maui, she was like, Maria, don't go like traveling around in a van on Maui, because like, don't you remember how I went missing? And so I like changed my whole Maui plan based on this information she was giving me. And then I reached out to her family, and I was talking to her family, and her dad and her brother were like, yeah, we never heard anything from the police in Peru. And basically I talked to them recently and helped them to put together some links of like realizing where they had found potentially her body, and like, I guess kind of coming to terms with like why I have been going through all of this on many different levels of like what my purpose served in the water, what my purpose served with her and her family, and being able to have closure. And reclaiming the part of myself that I completely just like, what is that called when they,
Amputate.
yeah, when they amputate like a part of yourself, like intentionally. So I feel like then Chicago was coming back to me a lot recently, like so intensely in the last week. So when I heard now that Chris departed, I'm just kind of like, holy Moses, like, whoa, because everything that Chiago was telling me was all about basically like finally after 6 or 7 months now, finally showing me the pieces that I needed to understand about why he needed to pass. And then even showing me like, now that you understand this, like someone's going to come in soon, like someone like a partner is going to manifest soon. And I was just kind of like really overwhelmed with hearing him show me all of this week. But now as I'm like listening and I was going through the exercises of like where my own protector parts, like I feel like I can't call them saboteurs, because if I call the part of me that wants to protect myself a saboteur, I feel like I'm right back there with the pillow over my face where I need to protect myself, but I'm not, because I'm calling it a saboteur. And so for me, when I really just embrace, because it only becomes a saboteur for me when I don't acknowledge it as a protector part. If I don't claim the part of myself that really needs the protecting, then it becomes like this like wily, out of control thing trying to get my attention. And so I'm feeling like a lot of like forgiveness for myself, and a lot of just like embracing my intuition on these like really, really, really deep ways through not like thinking it's a saboteur at first. Like it has saboteur energy. It can sabotage, but only when I'm not relating to it with like the love and care of that it's trying to protect something. And so, yeah, that was a really beautiful exercise for me as well too. A lot is still processing as well.
Maybe one more.
One more share, and then I'll watch a video. Yeah,
Can I share?
yeah, of course. Let me see here.
I think Amy's going next.
Oh, Amy, okay, sure. Of course.
I'll try to get my thoughts out as quickly as I can. This work is very fascinating to me. Doing the homework, opened up an awareness of, it was almost instant when I was reading about shame and where it was birthed from. It was instant. My husband was actually sitting in the room while I was reading through things, and he could see it literally shift, because he said right away, without me saying anything, he went, something just happened. And I thought, yeah, I just had this massive awareness where shame and I guess resistance was birthed, and it came right from my introduction to, like, my life introduction to my older sister. She was only 19 and a half months old when I was born, but she had high anxiety right from birth. Very tricky scenario for my parents. And my whole life, I'm like, oh, I've heard stories of how my parents were like, oh, you're such a good baby, and you do this and this and this, and we didn't have to worry about you. But I feel in that moment that shame was birthed because she always treated me so poorly, like I did wrong right from the beginning. But I never picked up on that till I read this and did the homework. And I was like, oh, this is really fascinating. And everything in my system felt like it made sense as to why I became and did and all the things that I've had this resistance in me of like trying to figure out my whole life. That one of my main resistant patterns from childhood that I finally, after meeting my husband, started to disappear was I would shut down so fast that nobody could break me open. Like they would be like, what's wrong with her? Why won't she speak? Why won't she acknowledge? It was like a complete, and I couldn't explain it. It was energetic instant, because now I look at it energetically, I could feel it in each of my family members, and it was instant. And it was my whole life up until even when I was dating my husband, there was moments where he would do or say something and it was instant and I couldn't break myself out of it. For days sometimes I had to sit, and without realizing what I was doing, I was processing to try to understand the shutdown. And that has fizzled away, but in doing his homework, it's been fascinating to me that I actually don't feel grief or anger or resentment or all the feelings that I think I've had or felt that I've had this whole time. I don't have those anymore. I actually have gratitude that I've been on a journey that has brought me to this space, that has taught me who I am, who's got all the gifts that I've discovered in the process is empowering. And I know that my life and how it's unfolded couldn't have happened any other way because it happened the way it did for a purpose. And I'm not angry about it. And it's interesting how I was able to share with my husband just yesterday that I don't have any harboring anger towards my sister, because she actually to this day is on a journey in her own health. And it's such a negative journey. And my heart aches for her because she doesn't have the same awareness or the same tools. And she is the way she is for whatever reason, but I'm not mad at her for how things have played out for me. My career, I even had at one point before my cancer surfaced years ago, this whole thing of I had an identity crisis. I'm like, well, if this didn't happen, who would I be? And that has dissipated because I recognize things have happened the way they happened for a purpose, and they've been a great life-serving purpose, because I feel like I am I am an amazing person, and how I interact and view and perceive people is totally different than anybody that I know in my circle of family or even friends, and even in my own household. It's been a gift that I can perceive people or situations so differently, but so enlightening. For example, there was a thing that surfaced yesterday where my kids were having a kid party for Christmas, and my kids were cleaning bathrooms, and they asked me to come and check. And as soon as I said, "Oh, this looks great," right away they shut down, my oldest. And he said, "Mom, I don't know what it is, but I just feel everything in my body is telling me that I didn't do a good job and you're going to criticize me." And he's never spoken those words to me before. He said, "Well, let's talk about it. I'm glad you said that. Let's talk about it." But then right when he was about to share, my husband called him upstairs. It's my other child cleaned that bathroom. And my son went up the stairs, and my husband comes up. He's like, "Hey." And my son perceived it as my husband was going to have him come help his brother clean the bathroom. So he shut down, stopped listening. He was like, no, turned around. My husband got really angry and triggered for his own childhood stuff of not being heard. There's this big blowout. And afterwards, I actually parented my husband for a minute and recognized I did it so poorly. But I came in and I said, "You need to go give yourself space." And I said, "Do you feel good enough for me to share with you my perception of what just happened?" And so I shared what my son was perceiving and what my husband was perceiving. And also my husband was like, "Oh," said, "You weren't aware, but that's okay. You're not a bad person for your reaction, and neither is our son. So if you'd like me to help facilitate coming together to understand each other, let me know." And he's like, "How will you call him up?" And they had this beautiful conversation together. And my husband said, "You can go." And then afterwards, my son came bouncing down the stairs and like, "How are you feeling?" He's like, "I'm good." And like, nothing happened. I asked my husband when he came down, I said, "How are you feeling now?" He's like, "It's really weird. All that anger," he's like, "it feels like it still wants to be in my body, but it's not." Oh, so this work is like a gift in that I've been trying so desperately for years. Being a mom has been the hardest thing for me because there's been this resistance of trying so hard to fix something and not knowing what I'm trying to fix, but everything feels like it needs to be fixed. And that comes from that shame place of not belonging or not being good enough in whatever it is I'm doing and having to prove myself. But this landed for me that now I've actually taken notes of like all the awarenesses that have come up since we started talking about the homework in each of my children, and how I could feel guilty, shameful, angry about all the hurts I've caused them, but instead I'm feeling hopeful and gratitude that I have a tool now that I can gift to them to help them come to a space of knowing who they are and the gifts that they have because of whatever it is that I've done and not knowing better, that can get them to a space of healing and wholeness and life-serving energy, not just trying to survive whatever emotions are trapped inside of them. And I just feel extremely grateful that I can be present enough that I'm not grieving my past. Even my husband said to me the other day, and this is huge. He said to me, "You were such a beast." He's like, "You were so hurtful and such a beast for years." He's like, "But I didn't feel good enough to keep going in life." And in the past, I would have been like shut down and all the things. And actually turned to him and I said, "Wow, I really am grateful that you just shared that with me right now." And he paused and he's like, "What?" I said, "First of all, the fact that you felt comfortable enough to share that with me is huge."
Yeah.
And second of all, that I'm not shut down and I'm not going to cry about it for days. He's like, "Holy cow, what is happening here?" Like he said that, "Holy cow, what is happening here?" I'm like, "I don't know, but it's amazing." He's like, "It is feeling a lot better." So all of these simple pieces that are coming are heaven sent and a part of my journey for a purpose. And it's like, it's enlightening and I feel lighter and I feel more gratitude and I feel like, holy smoly, why doesn't everybody have this available for them? And the other pieces, I witness my family who have so much health issues and anger and resentments and all of these things. And I don't feel the need to fix it anymore. I just sit and witness them and be present, let them vent, and it's okay. And it's okay. And I love that feeling now. Like I don't have to fix it. It's not my job to try and guide them to this work or anything. I just am present for them. And none of that would have happened if I didn't have this like very minute I took a breath in this. So that's my story. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Nicole also requested if she could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like absolutely blown away. And I just want to acknowledge the depth of learning. I don't like to say the wisdom that I'm inheriting from this group, this experience. It's so profound. I love it. Anyways, so doing the practice, doing the journaling, I yeah, I just started like scribbling. Heavy journaling practice. I just want to draw. I don't want to write. And so I just kept scribbling this circle and just going around and it wouldn't stop. Like it was like, oh, like kind of maddening almost. Like it was and I felt like it was a repetition of something inside of me, and it's something I couldn't let go of, constantly coming back. And the word stuck came up for me. And anyway, so watching that whole video on the saboteurs, what was the word? Protector. I just really landed was compassion for myself. And it was really, yeah, I feel like for my saboteurs, I feel so much compassion for the perfectionist in me, the avoider, that these are parts of me that are just trying to, protect me and take care of me. And I feel like that's where growth and healing is. Like allow. As soon as you pull allow out of that equation, it's just like everything stops. Right. So yeah, that was just I'm my mind gets really scrambled, and I'm just really, last night when I was doing that practice at 11 o'clock.
I was with you.
Yeah. I became ultra aware that my mind checks out. I check out a lot, and I miss a lot of information, and I just realized that I think it's me doubting my ability, or my presence, whatever it is in the moment. So that was some really nice awareness about that, and allowing me to have compassion, because when I am in a space and I check out, right after judgment comes in and says, what is wrong with you? You can't focus, you're a loser, you blah, blah, whatever story I've created. But yeah, now I can really see how that is just one of my saboteurs. I don't even like to use the word saboteur. Protector, thank you. Yeah, just something coming in, because it doesn't make sense to me. I've been like that for years. About why do I keep checking out mentally? It's like people will say that to me. They'll be like, what did I just say, Nicole? You know, because they know I check out all the time, and I feel bad. I feel so bad. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Don't know what you just said, kind of thing. Yeah. So anyways, I'm rambling. I'm jumping. Like, I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. I love what you said. The soul is a master. What did you follow it with? The mind. Do you
Is
remember?
a servant.
The mind is a servant. Yeah, that down.
But we flip it.
We flipped it. It's all
Yeah.
Make the mind
backwards.
master.
Yeah.
My soul doesn't even get different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still on as the master.
Yeah.
Jessica, I noticed that little flicker on the face. Did you want to share something too, or?
I need to share, but I do also feel like I don't know if there's time for it, so just see.
It's called the living curriculum. It's usually what people say is more important than what's already planned most often, right? So, yeah.
Okay, well, first and foremost, I will just start because we have similar journals. They're made by the same humans. Pretty. So I just wanted to share with you my symbol, and that there's. When I was viewing your circle and my circle, I was like, oh, there's a little. There's show me your circle. There seems to be a little bit more space inside of it.
Oh my God. Wow.
To let it go.
Here's their journals and their circles.
Can't make this shit up.
Wow.
I could see Sherry going.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Anyways, just to share that we're also connected, even not in person or even online or whatever. I just want, like, we have physical proof of that. So I did want to share that piece. But
Thank God you shared that.
but I will share another piece as well. When I was doing the journaling exercise, I felt very confused by the information that I received during this exercise. Ultimately, it provided a huge relief and a huge space in my life to completely open up, which has never been the case. But I had felt that I was actually in the space of being able to witness myself, because the energy that I was carrying was an unconscious energy from my father, which I don't know if it was like born into me, kind of like feels like. So because it didn't necessarily even come from me, it felt like I could see it and hold it and release it in a different way. So I get curious of like asking if there's room and space for you to exist in a different way than if you feel stuck and it's more personal, like it's more yours. That like I was like, oh, it's really interesting that I was born with a protection of an unconscious belief that was like onto me. And the belief is like, it's all your fault. Right. So that feels like, wow, it kind of makes sense that my mom tried to have me for 7 years and it didn't ever work. So, it just felt like a lot. It felt like so much around it. And then it explained a relationship that I had with my dad and myself. Like it has provided me with so much relief. Just to and whether or not there's resonance still within me around it to unpack with a sacred mirror, I question that piece. But yeah, just having it available to show itself has just given me a lot of like love for myself and a lot of like, I don't know, just yeah, gratitude and appreciation for this group and this space that allows me to see and feel things that I normally can't. So yes, just thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like these energies aren't just ours, right? We think we're so personal and they're bad, 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 and they go, wait a minute, look at their drawings that they did, this universal threads of information that we're all containing in this energetic field. And we're judging the life force in this energetic field that we're born into. And we're like, oh, these parts are all bad. And then as we just go, oh, what is this trying to tell me? How is it part of life itself? And it's like, oh, as we bear witness to it, it's like it returns itself to the life and serving energy within us. And then also it uploads. We're just like part of life itself. And it's like somehow we've decided that part of life itself is bad. Like, so it's like, who
Yeah.
does that?
Yeah.
Who told us? How did we come to believe that? That it's like baffling to me. It's like, okay. Yeah. It's like this energy's bad. I can't feel that energy. I'm gonna push it over there. And then we go, when we go, oh, I'm little energy. What have you got to say? Oof. Oh my God. And I'm hearing from all of you the patterns of like my life, my parents' life, why I came into the world. It's not even just what's going on now. You're seeing the pattern of
The why in it.
of what is that? Timelessness of the divine essence that we come from in the first place. It's so cool. Cool.
I just have one part coming up in me to speak to, which is like the sensitivity we have to our families that we grew up in, and the amount of information we actually carry in our bodies about what everyone around us felt, was keeping quiet, never expressed, and that our bodies actually know that very intimately. But because nobody talked about it or it wasn't said out loud, we don't know how to interact with that information inside of us, and the body carries it, and the body has the wisdom of it still. So as we reconnect to those pieces bit by bit, as we're able in layers, the body comes up and speaks about what the real experience was with her family, what our mom was actually feeling that she never said, but the body felt it and comprehends it. And it's this trust process of, oh, it wasn't wrong that I felt it. It was actually my body that is in tune that felt it. And we can then allow the pattern to move. Allow the energy of it to move through us. And not have to carry it in a burdened way anymore, to carry it with clarity and flow instead. And trust ourselves and our sensitivity to it more.
I feel like
I'm even feeling, sorry, I'm even feeling like they say that being an empath can actually be a trauma response in itself. And like the first time that I heard that, it was kind of painful for me to sit with because like there's the beautiful aspects of being an empath and it's a gift. But it is a response to to trauma in a way. And so like when I'm thinking about the ancestral, like the lineage pieces, the pattern piece, and even my comment about like schizophrenia, like in Africa, actually, the people with schizophrenia are seen as like the shamans. And so I'm just like sitting with this like inner dialogue about like trauma and like the very sacred purpose, like even of trauma, and how essentially like the gift of being empathic comes from that in a way. And I feel like that's also kind of helping to alleviate like little bits of like residual shame, because the world needs more empaths. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, kind of helps me to find gratefulness even for the trauma in a way. So that feels like revitalizing right now.
I feel like a good segue to the video, since she's talking about trauma.
Yeah.
I just want to, let's see. Okay. I'm gonna try and make this large and play it, but I don't know if it'll work. In fact, I actually pretty much know it won't, because when I make it big, then I can't share the screen. It's kind of weird. Let me just see if no, you can't access Zoom once you're out of there. Wait a minute, what if I do that? Zoom, mute audio, stop video. I can't share screen from there. Share screen. Oh, maybe I can. Hey, look at me learn something new. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Today we're going to talk about triggers, the energetic stamp, and the emotional pattern that lays beneath. So this is the energetic stamp. And what does an energetic stamp mean? As Summer has put on this beautiful graphic, the truth lives in the body energetically. It means that at some point in our lives, something happened that imprinted us in an energetic way. And that imprint is still laying within us. A pattern that we can feel whenever it's activated or triggered. And what we really call this is stuck energy, energy that wanted to move and can't. And where does it come from? So the trauma or energetic stamp is created by one big event or many small impacts, kind of like an environment over time. When our inner energetic world is disrupted, it's by one of two things. We received too little energetic input of what we needed, what we label as abandonment, neglect, rejection, or attachment wounds, unable to feel others within us, or we received too much energetic input that ignored our needs and energetic boundaries, what we label as criticism, assault, abuse, or oppression. And we weren't able to move the energy of what was happening in that moment, so it stays stuck. An imprint, like a pattern stamped within us, the truth of it always there. And so there's a pattern or an imprint left behind. And let's see, there's this beautiful little girl. She's 6 years old. She's happily drawing one day. Her sisters come home from school, and she's been waiting all day to play with them. But on this particular day, they run into their room, slam the door, and yell at her, "Go away! We don't want you right now." And she feels so left out. But no one helps her work through her feelings or understand them. And the event leaves an energetic stamp, an imprint, a pattern of stuck energy within her, of the feelings, the worries, how she doesn't understand, which we're going to represent with this green spiral of energy. So then what happens to this energetic pattern? We know it's a stamp, we know it's there. This girl moves on, she grows up, but that pattern of energy is still within her, even though she never feels it and doesn't even consciously remember that day with her sisters. And then one day, she learns that her friends went out to a restaurant without her. And something happens. Suddenly, the energy that was stuck seems to take up her whole body. And she again feels the feelings of being left out. She feels like a young child left out of where she wants to be, and it's all she can see or feel. And even though her friends tell her it was a business lunch, they're actually working on a new idea together, they weren't really trying to leave her out. It doesn't change the feeling in her body of aloneness, rejection, and the pain of being left out. It's as if she is sensing something about the energy of what just happened mirrors something I have felt before. My body is remembering something and bringing it up to the surface where I can feel it, even if I don't understand it. This is what a trigger is. It's a stimulus, often from outside us, that activates a remembrance, the feeling of stuck energy pattern we carry within us. Bringing the stuck energy to the surface so that we again feel the same way we did when the energetic stamp happened the first time. It brings the imprint bigger and upward, and it has a purpose so that the energy can move or complete its journey, which is the purpose of energy. It wants to move, right? Triggers are reactivations of unprocessed emotion. And in this way, they are not caused by the other person or stimulus. The other person is only a reminder, a little input of energy acting as a mirror that allows you to remember, reactivate the stuck energy that was lying inside of you and to bring it to the surface, to be moved. In this way, triggers are a gift. So where do we run into trouble? Because a lot of us are like, wow, triggers are not my favorite thing. And the answer is in the flow of energy. It's in how we allow it to flow or not flow. And a lot of this is unconscious. We don't deliberately do this, but we do end up judging the people or the stimulus, the thing that's outside of us. And we say, they made us feel this way. They are guilty. The event is the problem, the circumstance. We should fix or force what's out there, or that person needs to realize what they did. I'm angry at her. Or we judge the emotion of, or energy of what's inside us. We feel that it's somehow bad or wrong or dark or shadowy or monsterish, and there's actually like some fear there. So then the protectors come up. And so this act of judging, it's not so much that we form a thought of judgment unless a judge protector is there, but it's more that in a split second, we sense something of the outside world and we sense something of that energetic stamp activating inside of us. And some part of us decides, ooh, we can't go there. And this is often quicker than a blink. We don't even sense the quick switch from, oop, here was that original pattern, that original thing active to, okay, now I'm in my protector mode. So just as review, we know the saboteurs as protectors, right? The avoider, the stickler, the people pleaser, the hyperachiever, the controller, the victim, the restless and distracted, hypervigilant, hyperrational, the judge or the critic. But there are more than this. There are other behaviors, emotions, thoughts, and ways of being that drive us or hold us captive in some way. They don't allow us to get down to that stuck energy. And these are ones like numbing, suicide or self-harm, soothing through food or other substances, humor, extreme organizing, helping everybody except ourselves, intellectualizing of what we don't understand, manipulation, when we use religion or spirituality or those practices as avoidance of what's inside us, sleepiness, impulsivity, dissociation, managing details, overwhelm, extreme caregiving. We could put extreme in any of these words and it would give more of the feeling of it, right? Anger, fear, suspicion, and even a blankness or brain fog. These are all protective mechanisms of our bodies. And the truth is that they didn't start out this way. They were actually natural traits or abilities, however you want to describe it. It's parts that take on roles within us that help us engage with our own self, our inner world, and with others in kind of a skill or talent-based way. They're helpful attributes. These are the parts of us that, like down on the left, they're responsibility and relationally oriented. The parental, nurturing, self-growth and goal-setting parts. They're the parts of us that think and discern and help ourselves and help others, and they advocate for our needs. They know how to work with people. They are the parts that help us learn and integrate information. And then on the right side, sorry, they're about strength and enjoyment of life. They're about having, these are the parts of us that can help us to have fun. They're adventurous. They're the sensual side, the food, the sex. They're passionate, they're protective, they're courageous, they're risk-taking, and really praiseworthy. Like all of these things are what help us get through life. But they flip into protector roles because something uncomfortable has happened inside that energetic stamp thing. And instead of being the integrative, collaborative sides of us, they go on steroids, they muscle up, and they take over. They control us when we don't want to be controlled, and they prevent us from really being able to feel the energy of what happened to us way back then and transform that stuck energy pattern. The question becomes, why do the protectors flip out of their natural role? What are they protecting? And what is the energetic stamp? Well, the answer is we have these other parts inside of us. And these are the most tender and sweet parts of us that come online as we're born and as we go through life. And they're very intimacy oriented. They're meant for closeness and for love and affection. And so as you sense any of these parts inside, you'll often notice that they are very childlike in essence, and they feel very much like, this is me. This is not a part of me. This is not a skill. This feels like me. These parts are very sensitive, very vulnerable. They are playful and innocent. They are where our truest creative nature comes from. They're trusting and affectionate. And even when we talk about left brain and right brain parts, these ones are often, these are the right brain, open, fluid, responsive, gorgeous parts of us that just love to be in flow with ourselves and others. But in the moment of an energetic stamp, what we call a trauma, one of these parts becomes overwhelmed, often with an emotional energy, something that it needs support to process. And it begins to look more like this. And it's because as it begins to feel that overwhelm, there's a need that arises. And that need is for presence. So when that little girl was left out by her sisters, she needed someone alongside her to support the emotional energy to complete its cycle, to support her through any worries or thoughts that came up, and to allow her to speak or cry or move her body, whatever she needed for the energy, the emotion to move in that moment. And so the need in that moment was for anything inside of her that was affected by that event to be seen, heard, felt, and then the need that arose from that event to be met. And if this little girl gets the support, if this little part inside of her gets the support, the energy has moved and an energetic stamp or the stuck energy pattern does not occur. The scar, the imprint is not there. And she gets to go on with life. But without presence, this part feels an overwhelming emotional and physical response, a big, impactful, energetic experience. And there's some stress involved here, right? Without presence, nobody to be with, and not old enough or experienced enough to process on its own, the energy of the experience is stuck. And here comes our energetic stamp. And this part, this tender essence side of us, maybe the playful side of us or the trusting side of us, takes on a burden, a pain, a wound that frames the experience of this stuck energy. And that takes the form of a thought, a belief, or a story about themselves. And this begins to feel quite stressful within the system, within the body. To feel this pain all the time would be too much. And that's why the protectors come in. And so when we're triggered and we begin to feel the start of that energetic pattern coming up, we don't like it. Quick as a wink, we judge this feeling down in us as dark or bad or negative or wrong or shadowy or low vibe. And because that little judgment happens, because protectors rush in, we can't bring presence to what actually is. What actually is in that moment is a negatively charged core emotion or body sensation. It's actually very simple, that dark, shadowy thing that we sense on the inside. And here are what those core emotions might be: sadness or grief. This part may feel alone or hurting, ashamed or embarrassed, powerless, hopeless, so confused, scared or terrified, or dejected. And because we're also speaking about this in energetic terms, underneath the protectors, you may also find a past life imprint, something that's lingering from another lifetime, another experience. What you may find under protectors is also a sense of collective pain. It's not just me carrying this, it's everybody in the world carrying this, or other energetic things that don't particularly feel like a childlike essence. It's just something under the surface that is also asking for our presence. And so this part, in feeling that core emotion, begins to struggle. And so whenever it's activated in our bodies, we also feel the pain of the belief or the story that this part attached to that emotion, which it carries like a heavy burden way down inside you all the time. And so whenever we feel that feeling sad, alone, fearful, the story also comes with it. I'm being rejected. I don't belong. I am unsafe. I'm being attacked. Nothing will ever change. It's all my fault. Nobody loves me. It's all up to me. I'm on my own. I don't matter. Everything is overwhelming. People are scary. I'll never get through this. I'm a failure. I'm going to fail. I'm not good enough. There's nothing I can do. And so when someone is telling me about what's going on inside of them, maybe from a trigger and activation of a pattern, I feel and I sense with them. And it's not so much in my head or an evaluation or an assessment, it's listening with my body for the energy of the different things they say. And so they might first tell me, they might make some statements that are a judgment or a criticism of self or others. I should be doing this, or they should be doing that, or they did that, that was wrong. And I just notice there's no judgment here about the inner experience. And then they might say, they made me feel this thing, it's their fault. And so I notice, there's a blaming protector, and I'm just noticing. It feels like I have to work so hard to get approval, and the hyperachiever, people pleaser protectors in there. It's normal to have many protectors all at once. And then ever since this happened, I've been binging chips and chocolate. It's like I can't get out of the pantry. I just want to eat and eat and eat. And I'm just noticing. And then there's this feeling of maybe if I just don't say anything and I just disappear, all of this will go away, or this person will go away. I'm just noticing. And then as they keep talking, because a lot of this is just bringing space and presence to what's on the inside, as they keep talking, they begin to use words like this. And then I just feel so hopeless. I'm so afraid. I feel so alone. I feel like they're going to leave me. I'm going to be abandoned. It feels like I'm going to be a failure again. And I'm just so ashamed. And as they say that, then I know the one that's in the middle, the pain or hurt at the center of it all, and the one that needs presence. And this one is the reason all the protectors, the ones around the edge there, are there. It's because this pain is active on the inside, and the protectors are trying to push it back down to make it go away. In IFS, we use the term exile. It's almost as if the protectors shove this part of you way to the back or way down inside your body so that it's not coming up to your awareness anymore. When we're really triggered, this is often what's happening. We're feeling the pain, this hurting one, the one that's in the middle of it all, and we're feeling the charge of the protectors, which can be very intense. And so often we work to calm down these sensations because we don't like them and they scare us. And holy heck, can it be overwhelming when all of this is going on inside? But there's also a way to complete the movement of energy. For this stamp on the inside where this pain originated to be able to move. And some of us have already experienced that in Inside Out.
What was coming up for me as you were speaking, Naomi, was so I was sort of contemplating going, okay, I've always considered myself very self-aware. And then I was sort of contemplating, okay, but then the pattern, it feels like sometimes like there's lots of stuff I'm like, wow, I've really made gains there, but there's lots of stuff I go, the pattern doesn't change. And so then I'm like, so I'm not in the, oh, wow, this happened. I don't know what's going on. I'm totally pretty clear on what's happening and why it's happening and where it came from. So then I'm like, but I think the piece for me that feels like, oh, there it is the sensation, the feeling, the like what you're talking about in Inside Out, like getting into my body and witnessing that. Because even when you talk about having a buddy and sharing, that can turn into this, like, okay, I'm thinking that and I know that and this, oh, okay, yeah, like, thanks for listening, but I haven't gone in here and said, okay, like, and had someone, and I think this group is great because they'll have some of that languaging to go, okay, that's great what you think is happening, but what does it feel like? Where does it sit in your body? What's the emotion? Okay, and what does that emotion feel like? And where's, like, I feel like right now I'm going, maybe that's the piece that will kind of bring it to that next level. Yeah. And just contemplating that and want to share it out loud.
I know Maria has her hand up there.
Thank you so much. What's coming up for me is this, what I feel like I've heard a lot in different lineages or teachings about triggers and how ultimately they came from somewhere before, whether it's like in this lifetime or in a past lifetime. And that's so vital and like nutrient dense. But I'm like, it's so visceral for me right now that like it has to be, and it's like if I made cookies and my husband didn't like them and didn't eat like 10 of them and it hurt my feelings and he didn't appreciate me for the cookies, and like it really hurts me inside because like something happened when I was 4. It's absolutely vital for me to like focus on what happened when I was 4, but and also like that my partner, that my husband and I can like talk about how I don't feel appreciated about the cookies as well. Because just because the trigger comes from something that happened when I was 4, to me doesn't invalidate that. I don't really prefer when I make cookies and someone's eaten them and they didn't like share gratitude. And so I feel like that also kind of creates this like tension in myself if I'm always like, oh, there's something I have to fix in myself about my even about my triggers. Like, can I just be triggered because like we do have an effect on each other? And like actually like I spent like all day making those cookies and I made homemade icing and like
Yeah. Can I speak to that, Maria?
yeah.
So anytime someone's triggered, right? We can always, because there's this energy, and we were talking about this too. Sherry, you triggered me. And then you're like, yeah, Summer, you're welcome. Go process what you need to process about your life and why, because it's nothing to do with me. We call triggers mirrors because they're a mirror in multiple places. One is some place early in our life, and that person who triggered us, there's something going on for them too. Like energy isn't contained in our own body. And because energy is timeless, there is no time. As soon as you process whatever it is, if it's a huge process when you're 4, you then realize, oh, you don't have much charge towards your husband anymore either. And then he all of a sudden changes his behavior. Weird. And so it doesn't really matter
No,
what point you come to. If you're like, hey, hubby, this is disturbing me, my cookies. But, and this is where, if this is where the trigger scale comes in really importantly, and this is what you'll learn in conscious communication, is when you're triggered from 1 to 4, it's a present reality only. My husband hasn't shown me appreciation and gratitude for the time that I've taken. Right. So then you can verbally say, hey, honey, A, B, C, D. And he might be triggered and go into, oh, he's being chastised and criticized and be at a trigger 10 in a response to you. Or he might go, oh, I totally get that. And yeah, I'm sorry. I've just been irritated from someplace at work. And so he can share why he isn't showing up in a life-serving way.
I think the essence of what I was wanting to share was just that triggers in themselves, like we can talk about them also, like there's like this nasty thing about having a trigger and that ultimately there's something I need to fix about myself, or ultimately there's something I need to heal from the past, versus just like this thing triggered me, and like in the Imago framework where it's very much about relating and being able to say like, yeah, you know what, like I felt this way about the cookies and I didn't feel like this need was met. And it's like, not because there's necessarily even anything to fix, not even because I need to dig into what happened when I was 4, just that like my partner is like, oh shit, like you did spend 3 hours making those cookies and I just was so distracted, and of course I'm so grateful, and then like meets that need immediately.
Yeah.
So that like triggers don't end up having to become like a never ending cycle of like, okay, I always have to fix myself even to get my like need met for connection, you know, in the moment. I think so many of us who are on this healing journey and are empathic can fall like into that groove of like, okay, I need to fix something again about myself. Like, oh yeah, there's like, okay, now I'm triggered and I need to go and like fix this thing, versus just being able to be and like, oh yeah, I feel triggered, and like, oh yeah, thank you. And it can even be even more simple actually.
Well, that's what I'm saying. All it is energy. It's an energetic stamp. That's it. You can either, you can go within yourself and go, oh, it doesn't really matter. However you process the energy in that time, if it's huge and gigantic, the likelihood that there's something else, and you just have to sit with yourself. That's it. You give presence to whatever's going on in yourself. That's as simple as it is. Energy is always everywhere and it's always occurring, whether it's a physical symptom in your body where it's perceived that someone else is triggering you, or it's from when you're 4. It doesn't really matter. It's just energy. And you don't need to fix it because it's not required fixing. All it's doing is moving and wants to complete its movement. That's essentially it.
I totally feel what you're saying, Maria. And coming, my greatest teacher, my husband, coming back to that, like I literally have this conversation of what I desire is to express this trigger and just for it to be here. My judgment and my perception is that my husband gets into, well, if, yeah, but if you would just, and if you would, and if you would, and then you'd know. And it's like, I don't like, can I just have this trigger? And can it just be there? And can it be like, I'm not blaming you. I'm just expressing a trigger.
Experience.
And I just desire for it to be in the room and accepted and seen. And that's all. But I know that this is my perception, when I express that my husband goes into, and he won't verbalize it that way, but I believe he's going into, if she's triggered and something is, alive for her in a negative way, oh my God, it's like, he can't bear the fact
with me
that my wife is triggered, and somewhere in there I'm wrong
he's judging
because
the
of that.
energy in you.
He won't say I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So it's easier for him to go, oh, if you would just stop and you would just, because he can't bear. And I just keep coming back to, I just want this just be on the table and just looked at and seen.
You just
That's
have to
it.
sit with you.
Yeah.
And hear.
And so it's, yeah.
It's like they have to do.
I'm so
Conscious communication too, right?
Well, that's where all the stories come in, right? What Naomi said. We have stories, and then they have stories about your trigger. And if they could just, if they were just in that space of.
And so then it comes back to, oh, now I have to get accountable again. Because I'm thinking about, okay, well, I understand what's happening with him, and then it's like me, and then now I'm like, I don't want to be accountable right now. I just want the trigger to just be there and be okay and just look at.
That's
okay. That's it.
That's why what we're learning to speak to is relationship is 3 ways. Me to myself, me to you, and me to source. And so if we treat, oh, I'm triggered, now it's my responsibility to go deal with it or whatever. I'm not checking in with what's your response to my trigger? What are you feeling in your body? Or what does my soul have to say about this? It's 3-way. And so like we also run into this in marriages where like a lot of women are doing spirituality healing work and the guys are just being guys. They might have protectors up, whatever. How do you be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't process things the same way or do things the same way? And yet my husband is my dearly loved and respected Jedi master trainer who is helping me heal the pain of rejection by not always meeting my needs, And so it's like, it's learning to check back in, even if we're triggered. Okay, what's happening in you? Okay, now what's happening in me as you speak? Now what's happening in you? And so it's not like if he doesn't eat my cookies, it's like, oh, okay. Are you not interested in my cookies today? He's like, oh, I didn't even see them. Like it's okay. What happened in there? Okay, so this is what I felt when you didn't eat my cookies. Now what are you feeling as I say that?
I have the flu and I don't really feel like eating them.
Yeah, or I'm not eating sugar these days. Like there's ultimate nth degree reasons why he might not be doing that. And it's like, how do I relate to you in this moment? How do you relate to me? This is relationship, and it can't be based on, is everyone being perfectly emotionally responsible here? Has everyone fixed their triggers? Okay, now we can have this conversation. That doesn't allow us to be human and to be in flow. And for the movement of time, when my child is coming to me tantruming, losing their shit, I don't have time to be like, oh, okay, I'm being triggered, I gotta go heal my past before I can be with my child. I just have to gather my resources and see if I can hold presence for that. If I have time, I can go back and check someone it brought. But sometimes it's like SOS. It's like emergency check-in. Okay, Naomi, I'm feeling charged. I really, really want to push this screaming child away because this feels so uncomfortable for me. And can I just breathe and pick up my child and give them what they need? Or I'm afraid I'm going to hit my child. So now my need to not actually hit them means I need to put them there and I go here so I don't do that. It's not like perfection. It's what's the top need and how can we be present for it, right? And Maria, like it can be a real, to put a label on it, we call it spiritual bypassing.
To be like, oh, you're being triggered, that's all your shit. It's denying the relationship part. That your shit is actually my shit. All the shit in the world is connected to me too. And we're all here together to do this work together. It's not isolation and it's not you go fix yourself. No, it's relational work. Half the shit that shows up came because of relationship. How can we heal it by ourselves in the corner? Can't.
I just wanted to share also, Sherry, that like when you were talking and when you were saying the part about like, can I just like have my feeling? Can I just have my, the trigger just be here with us and just be? I felt so many chills like in my whole body. Like I felt you alive so much more in my own physical body as you were expressing even like a metaphorical example of a trigger. So I felt like a lot of like richness in this dialogue about just like whatever that was. I just felt it so richly in my body when you were saying like, can it just be here? And I just wanted to reflect that back. Like I felt chills all over my entire body and like a relaxation in my own body as I heard you expressing the validity of whatever this metaphorical trigger, like being able to exist and be loved and accepted. And I felt more calm as I heard you like advocating for that. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, everybody. So much for bringing yourselves. And Maria, thank you for speaking to your body sensations. And that's maybe how I'd like to just check out. If everybody takes 30 seconds or so to take a breath and check in with yourself. And speak to any sensation. Notice any emotion, any niggle. This can bring up lots of, ooh, what do I feel about that? I don't know. Just notice what's present. And it's already, we're past 1 o'clock. So I want to be cognizant of where we are in time. It's almost 1/4 past. And maybe I'll speak first. I feel a sense of flow. And I feel gratitude. And just a sense of peace of having been with people and felt people with me. That's complete for me.
I'm aware of the sunlight outside right now, and I notice this heaviness and the tiredness that I had when I started. It feels so much lighter. Hearing all of you. Yeah, it's just so it's like a watering can in my garden inside. Yeah. If you're online and want to go, just put your hand up and yeah.
Can go. In the practice of being in my body, I feel kind of a lump and a heaviness around here. And I feel butterfly kind of energy all in around here. And I have huge gratitude for the depth of the conversation. And yeah, just gratitude and appreciation.
Thanks, Sherry. Amy.
I feel excitement, I would say, is what all the movement I'm feeling in my body would be excitement. Light, hopeful, but mostly excitement that I've learned a lot today that has opened up my awareness even further. And it's just exciting because in the past I would have felt it like a burden, the awareness, and now I'm feeling it as the burden's lifted and there's direction, and flow, and that's exciting to me. Anything?
Go. Felt like in the beginning, I probably felt the coldness of that igloo, and now I do feel like the warmth of the fire and connection, and that feels really cool to have experienced that through the body. I feel a lot lighter, more free, and just that like we can just allow things to just be as they are. You know, it kind of takes like a pressure and like a tightness out of me, and that feels like relief. So thank you.
Feeling and childlike wonder and excitement, curious, hopeful, lighter. I feel like dancing. Peace. Yeah.
Thanks, Nicole. We got Maria.
I am feeling like a line of tension going from my uterus like up towards the sky. And like I feel Tiago's energy, like kind of like, I'm coming, kind of like I don't know, like at the other end of that line of tension. And it's like a line of tension, almost like a musical, like a guitar string or a harp string. And I don't know exactly what that is, but I feel curious to kind of like meditate with it. And that's all I actually really feel right now. So I'm just gonna leave it right with that thing, in gratitude, of course, for all of you beautiful ladies. Thank you really so much.
Thanks, Maria. And Miss Sherry.
I'm feeling somewhat like the other Sherry. There's a little bit of pressure in my chest, somewhat like an anxiety, but not an intensity to it, just more of a weight. There's a lot of ahas that kind of came up through discussion and some sharing. I'm feeling with some of the discoveries and the healing that is coming up for some of the ladies, inspiring. And yeah, resonant and maybe hopeful with what I yet still need to uncover and discover more fully. So I've decided to kind of take my journey in a bit of a different direction. And I'm going to be working on some private work for a while, see where that takes me and how it unfolds. I still will be around for some of the things, probably just not as much or as regular, as I try to kind of unwrap my traumas and triggers. And yeah, today really I was taking notes, and it really did open up some ahas around, okay, there's that big piece that I could never seem to hit on. But I think I might have an idea now of its presence, just not its depth. And that's kind of it exactly. Presence. So I thank you all for your sharing and your journeys. And we will definitely be reconnecting again at other events and different kind of things that are going on. So I'll just leave it at that for now. Thanks so much.
I just want to make it clear because I don't know if it is for the other women. You're not going to come to the Sunday meetings. The 3 hours feel a lot, and you want to do some more private inside outs and IFS and come to some of the practices instead is what you're going to be doing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just more self-discovery right now. I think I need to figure out more because I'm really at a loss of what's happened to me. So I kind of need to figure that out before I can really try and share with everybody else who I am.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna miss you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so like happy to know you're doing what you feel you need to do, but I love seeing you sitting there and like everything that you brought. So I'll miss you on Sundays, but really like just holding you into so much love. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm still gonna miss you though, but thank you.
I'm glad we'll get to see you at practices, Sherry, sometimes. And I think Sacred Mirrors, you're attending and coming to those, and you'll be at the communication classes as well. Yeah. Sherry,
I wonder if you could, I feel like this picture behind you is really pertinent to today.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for
I
sure.
just wanted to give attention to that because I'm like, oh, Lee, look at that.
yeah, and I just want to say, just like Sherry said today, you can just put it on the table, and what you said is, well, I need to know myself to share it with you, and I'm like, no, you don't. You're allowed not to know. And that can just be on the table. I don't know. And we can just be present to your unknowing. Because that's where you are and who you are right now, in a place of unknowing, and that's it feels very nourishing. Just to feel yourself. Because it's real.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying there, but I guess from my perspective and from what I'm feeling, it's I don't even know. That's why I'm doing the work. It's like a lost identity, or this this who this is who I am now, but I think it's as a result of who I've kind of been structured to be, and not necessarily I can't even find the words really. The little girl maybe that had other dreams. Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks.
Very. Felt that little girl, and I just want to say hi. You can't see me saying hi. Welcome, and one other invitation that Maria made, and I think I'm going to make it anyways. If you haven't put a photo in there and just introduce yourself so people can see your face and who you are, I realize I know you all, at least somewhat, and newness so people can see, because we even talk, but then we don't really know much about us. So if you're willing to do that, put a picture and introduce yourselves.
Thank you so much. Could actually the ladies who are there, could you say who your names are?
Yeah, every time we
Like
speak.
who is in the Jessica, thank you. And then who's in the far seat there in the purple blanket and the green shirt? Yeah, who are you?
Nicole.
Nicole, thank you. And you're Sherry. Okay, thank you. Okay, got it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Helps
thinking
me.
that today everyone needs to say their name because we speak, but we don't even know that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you. It helps me so much to like weave. Yeah, thank you.
So do these recordings go somewhere?
Only into our website portal where you do your homework.
They do go.
That's where these go.
Yeah, these recordings.
Yeah.
I edit them a bit because sometimes there's really long pauses, and then I put it at 1.1 speed, so you don't have to take the full 3 hours. It goes down to about 2. And then I upload it. Yeah, so you'll see the recording will be uploaded in a few days. So every single
place where the homework is?
Yep. It's just an additional module that says recording of this session.
Okay. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So the homework you did last night in that same section, the recording will be added in a few days, not in the next module, but in the module you just completed.
Yes, thank you for all being here. If you need support, DM Naomi, myself, Debbie in the group, ask for support, ask for what you need. We're here. And it's always such a gift to do it for others. as you could hear today. Yeah. Mwah. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming today, Sherry.
Thank you.